Welcome back to HPL. Our third match of the night is about to get underway. These guys making their final adjustments to their first deck they're going to queue up here. I am Nathan, that's Admirable Zamora, joined by the Grace. And kind of looking at the way these guys line up, some really interesting stuff coming in. Both of them very familiar with ranked play, and that format, I think, translates over to here at the HPL format very well. But, you know, like we saw in the Show versus Osaka match, they had to feel each other out to really figure out what was going to go on in that game, and crazy stuff ended up happening. It finally finished with both of them playing the exact same build in the final game.
Yeah, you talked about each of them is going to have to feel each other out. It's going to be interesting to see if yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what decks they choose, because if he chooses Handlock, Jab might get him with his Face Hunter deck and really punish him for that. So ErA might not be able to keep what he normally likes to do in playing Handlock, and we're going to see a weird choice right off the bat here from ErA. Maybe not weird, but an interesting choice that usually can counter Hunter pretty well here in Priest.
Yeah, game one getting underway right now, and you know, ErA, actually Priest is one of the classes that he likes the most. I'd read an interview with him and talking about his favorite class. He said that he really loves the game-changing dynamic that Priest can bring, kind of forcing your opponent to adjust to circumstances that normally don't occur in other practice games. He loves to navigate those kinds of waters, and you know, we talked about him kind of maybe needing to find his groove. Going to your favorite class, something that you love to play, is probably a very good way to do that.
Yeah, another good point. We've heard a lot of people who have queued up Priest here so far in the tournament all say that when you know what your opponent's going to queue up, Priest is a really good choice when you know that you can get that good matchup.
Yeah, so Haunted Creeper going to go ahead and coin out this web spinner as well. You know, he would have loved to see that turn one, but you know, I think he's okay with seeing it turn two as well. And ErA, you know, looks like, I mean, Injured Blade Master looks like a totally great turn to me. Your opponent has to do something about this card, or it gets out of control.
Yeah, and this Shadow Madness might be a really good card here in this matchup. Sometimes you can get some big swings out of it against the Hunter decks.
Yeah, perfect answer for it with that Eagle Horn Bow. Make sure to move the cursor outside of the sidebar there so we can not have a black. Oh, it's 1954 and black and white television is what we got. Akamai Soul Priest is just going to be the play again. I think ErA really understands his game plan with this matchup very well. The fact that he knows he needs to get stuff on the board to contest exactly what your opponent's doing and keep them in positions where they have to answer what you're throwing at them.
Yeah, we've talked about the keys for Priest decks here on HPL a few times. You need to keep your mana utilization high, make sure that you're making the right plays at the right time, and you need to kill enemy minions. You need to make sure that you keep the board control. Jab could not have been super happy about both those.
Yeah, actually pretty important juggles here to make sure the web spinner gets pulled off the board. It's a 5-4, you know, in return for that, so can't be unhappy about that either. But you know, the fact that he wasn't able to utilize this freezing trap as well, you know, he can't just leave Akamai Soul Priest on the board, otherwise that hero power is just going to directly kill this knife juggler. That's the last thing you want to be seeing.
And we might see a pretty interesting interaction of this freezing trap and Shadow Madness at some point in time in this game. That might be something you might need to look out for as an actual, like, pretty cool, different kind of thing. It looks like he's going to use the Shadow Madness here.
What a read here, too.
Yeah, to proc this freezing trap. This is an awesome play from ErA.
Yeah, whether it's freezing trap or whether it's explosive trap, would have taken care of it. Now it's back in his hand, and Northshire Cleric contesting these 1/1s at this point. So once again, Jab has to answer exactly what's happening here from ErA. He's done a fantastic job of putting him on a back foot.
Yeah, I just want to talk about the Shadow Madness a little bit more. It was a great play there. He got to play a Shadow Madness, take the trap from Jab, like proc the trap, and get the card. He got to keep the knife juggler, not just get rid of it.
Just straight up kidnap.
Just yeah.
So yeah, again, once again, just, you know, this is kind of what Priest does too. Again, it puts your opponents in these spots where, you know, you're not always used to getting your cards taken from your opponent. Oh, that is a pretty darn good one right now. That can be utilized to tremendous effect right now. But again, there's multiple minions on the board I think that he wants to deal with at this point. And if he chooses to use this Houndmaster, and let's say he wants to run over this Cabal Shadow Priest, that's going to leave that Misha at 2 health. And ErA's got a copy of Holy Nova in his hand.
Yeah, ErA has a copy of Holy Nova. It's a great card in this matchup. It's really good at sweeping up the board from the Hunter side, clearing out all the little small minions, and regaining some of your health total. Just a great card in this matchup. As you said, you're still going to see him make this play, I have to believe.
ErA just got a web spinner off the web spinner.
Oh, nice. little circuitous effect.
You know, this Misha actually, it might run into this this Northshire Cleric instead. You know, pulling away your opponent's ability to, you know, have that card draw engine is a very important thing to consider. And at the same time, it leaves him a lot less vulnerable to something like Holy Nova. So really going to take his time and think through these plays. He also might push for damage here. Clearing out the 4/5, making sure that you can get that taken care of, a very important point. Cabal Shadow Priest gets drawn, but, you know, not a very good target for it so far this turn. I have to believe that he wants to use this Holy Nova right here. And look at this, beautiful. Make sure he gets that extra power on the Light Warden. He's just going to sacrifice his Northshire Cleric to make sure he keeps his opponent's minions in check. And now he's the one with initiative, and he's got card advantage.
And that dang web spinner is back. This is actually the second one. As you said, he got a web spinner off of a web spinner earlier in the game. So a lot of value on ErA's side so far this game. But you know it's good value? Dr. Boom on turn 7.
Yeah, but sometimes those boom bots can get stolen, and maybe sometimes your Dr. Boom can get stolen as well. Sylvanas, an excellent draw at this point, and he doesn't have to use something like Sludge Belcher to absorb all these attacks because he's got that Sylvanas in play, and he's at such a high life total. So this is a very comfortable position for ErA right now, and it looks like he's done everything he needs to do to make sure this board stays in control of him this entire game. And look at this. This is the part of the game where his mana utilization is going to stay high. He's going to start healing himself. If he can sustain through everything that Jab's going to throw at him, this game is all but over simply because of card advantage.
Yeah, he's got great card advantage, a ton of value this game, and the Sylvanas is going to get a lot of value again later in this game, as soon as next turn. Jab a little bit on the back foot. He hasn't got a lot of things going. He's had a decent draw, but he's not really getting a lot of headway and damage here, and that's what he wants to be doing, is dealing as much damage as possible. So look for him to put at least 1 to maybe 2 minions on the board here just to try to get ahead and have the Sylvanas be checked a little bit in some ways.
Yeah, this is such an ugly spot to be in. He's going to go with the Leash the Hound, which means that Houndmaster is going to follow this up. He wants to keep that Sylvanas from being able to be activated for as long as possible and then look for his big push and damage afterwards. But the fact that his push and damage is coming so late, that's a great thing for ErA in this spot because it means that he has plenty of time to answer what's happening on the board and move forward from there.
Yeah, great play from Jab here. Getting a 3/3 minion with Taunt in play is a Vol'jin drawn. That is a big draw from ErA here. Now, he set up a board to where Sylvanas doesn't necessarily have a way to kill herself this turn and get a big steal away from one of Jab's minions.
Yeah, he can Vol'jin his own Sylvanas here, put his Vol'jin at 4 health, and then that Sylvanas is going to have 2 after that. It'll trade with that Hound afterwards. He can potentially steal a 7/7 off of this. Even if he gets a 4/3, not a bad position to be in, but he's got plenty of options available to him. He's not only looking at that one play. He's going to take his time and figure out which one of these plays is going to leave him in the absolute best position he can.
Yeah, you don't think he's looking to get this Core Hound into play as soon as possible? That might be one of his best options.
It's the old 9/5.
I think is it the only 9/5 in the game? I think it is.
I can't think of another 9/5, so. Stand ready. Yeah, loving this. Sylvanas, again, even if Sylvanas lives, this is still a major threat to Jab, and the fact that it's sitting there like this is putting a lot of pressure on him on his board development. He can't just throw out his biggest, strongest minions every single time and hope for the best because it's going to steal one of them. So in this position, I mean, just really no plays available to him at this point. You know, something like Lotheb and Lost Tall Strider maybe just be exactly what he needs to do here to start pulling the away with this game.
Yeah, we're seeing some interesting minions getting into play because of these web spinners early in the game and how many times they've been activated. You see a Lost Tall Strider and a Core Hound, cards you don't normally see in ranked play, but that are going to be big players in these games.
You don't play Core Hound when you're in Legend? That's not what you're telling me right now?
No, I do not play the 9/5.
Lotheb is going to be the play here. No spells in ErA's hand, though, so he's totally okay with that. Now, I mean, this is the real decision now. Do you want to continue to build that board tension, hope things work out for the best, or do you want to use hero power and try to use Freezing Trap maybe to offset something that's happening here?
Yeah, again, Jab doesn't seem too excited about what's going on. You're probably going to see Sylvanas steal a minion from Jab here this turn. And
oh, wow, another great draw.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty good over the next couple turns. It might even be good this turn if he actually wants to use it. It's not the worst thing in the world here.
Make sure that he steals the exact minion he wants, and I gotta believe that's gonna be Dr. Boom. So Shadow Word Death on that Lotheb. Sylvanas trading with this 4/2 afterwards. He's got major card advantage. He's at a safe life total. Jab needs something huge to pull this game out right now.
Yeah, and ErA executing the game plan that we've talked about that you always want to see out of the Priest. Board control, good mana utilization, and killing enemy minions, and he's been doing that beautifully this game.
Yeah, all but completely choked out of the game at this point. Jab is going to lose one of his most important minions here. He's relying purely on this hero power, but the Priest hero power counters that perfectly.
Oh man, even drew an Alkanai Soul Priest this turn. If he wants to clear his entire board, he can. He can play the Alkanai, use his hero power to kill the Knife Juggler, and then run his Dr. Boom into the Lost Tall Strider, and then continue to develop his board if he wants to after that. He can even play a Knife Juggler to start. This might be what he's doing this turn.
Yeah, gotta go ahead and go with Alkanai Soul Priest. You know, a little bit of a risky proposition. His ability to heal has been taken away now. So what this says is that he's gonna be totally comfortable with this position. He believes he has way more than enough damage to end this game before Jab can pick it up.
Yeah, and Jab just with an explosive trap. That was not a terrible draw.
Yeah, that's
here
actually a pretty fantastic draw in a position like this. He's going to pull 10 damage off of the board here. And again, continue to put a little pressure on ErA's life total.
I think what he's going to do is he might switch the life total of Vol'jin.
Yeah,
with,
look at that.
Yeah, so
Very heads-up play to activate his healing once again.
Yeah, he's going to be able to activate his healing here. Huge heads-up play from ErA here. These 2 life points are going to probably be a huge, huge deal here in this game.
Yeah, and now this is actually kind of a decision that's in front of him. Does he want to get a second minion on board, or does he want to continue to counteract that hero power that Jab has every single turn? I like the heal. You know, he's very safe. He's got a minion on board. It's very difficult, I think, for Jab to get initiative in a position like this. Kill command gives him a little bit of reach, but he needs some cards to go with it.
Yeah, kill command's going to be a nice one to stick in his back pocket here, but
great
Sludge
draw
Belcher.
from ErA now. I mean, this is all but over at this point. He's got everything checked at this point. Jab, to me, looks like he needs something like to draw a kill command and then also draw a beast to go with it.
Yeah, I think this is only out in the game now. So ooh,
oh.
He might be getting there over the next
maybe
turn.
have spoke too soon. If he draws a kill command or a quick shot off of that quick shot, this game could end this turn.
Yeah, it looks like Jab might go for it here. Or do you just kill the Vol'jin? It's very interesting.
No,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
you
you gotta
go for the
go upstairs.
dome, man. You kill that Vol'jin, you're not going to win that way. Quick shot goes to the face. Oh, very close is that one. ErA's down to 3, though. He can't close this game out this turn, so he's potentially dead to another kill command draw or a quick shot draw, maybe even an Iron Beak Owl. This game has gotten very intense at this point now.
Yeah, Jab actually played great and has gotten some good draws here to put him to where he's actually going to have a top deck to win the game. Is he going to draw the burn spell?
That's not enough. He has no way to run through this Sludge Belcher. You can see ErA feeling a lot of stress from this one. Misha could potentially keep him alive for another turn, though.
Yeah, it looks like Misha might be able to get him through this game. I mean, there's one more turn here.
Zombie Chow is a dead draw at this point. He's going to have to run into this Misha with his 6-3 and give Jab one more turn to draw the card that he needs.
Yeah, this game is intense. This is the biggest draw of the game right here. Jab needs a burn spell right here. Any of them in his deck, get it done. Is Jab going to do it?
That is not enough to
it.
push through this. And ErA by the skin of his teeth is going to win this game. Wow, what a choice from him. You know, we've seen him play wild strategies the whole way through, and I would even consider Priest to be in the realm of that kind of strategy. But he's gone back to what he loves. He's kept his cool and make sure he's playing something. And just as we said earlier, Super JJ in his winner's interview, he queued up Priest in his match. He said that Priest was fantastic when you know exactly what your opponents are playing. And against an opponent like Jab, it's very predictable that he's going to play these mid-range strategies. ErA came prepared.
Yeah, ErA came prepared. Knew his matchup, knew his deck, knew what he needed to do against what Jab was bringing, and you saw him execute it perfectly and beautifully, and guess what? It got him the win.
Yeah, can't take anything away from Jab in that game either. Knew exactly that he had to take those big risks. Couldn't afford to kill the Vol'jin in that spot. Needed the extra damage to make that push to win the game. So ErA goes up 1-0 in this series now, and Jab going to have to go back to the drawing board. You know, is he keeping in mind now? My opponent has played a deck that's going to be that can be very scary against my mid-range strategies. Is this where he needs to switch gears?
Yeah, I think he absolutely has to switch gears here. That is a big signal from ErA when he queues up Priest game 1. Jab has to be unexcited about this matchup. He probably, in the back of his mind, was like, man, I'm just getting targeted. Everybody knows that I'm playing these mid-range hunter decks or these mid-range strategies. So I think it's about time for him to switch it up and throw a curveball back at ErA.
Yeah, strong thinking professionals making sure that he can't just play everything he's comfortable with. Has to go back to the drawing board and figure out a strategy for game 2. They're making changes to their decks. Guys, get out there on Twitter, use that hashtag HPL. Let everyone know who you're supporting, what you think they're going to play, what you want to see. When we come back, game 2 with ErA versus Jab. You're watching Hearthstone on PvP Live.